Sean Casey, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, and I'm loving this place too. I feel like I'm on a TV set here.
It's the saying, fingers in a lot of pies. Like, what do you think Sean Casey was put on this earth to do?
We get a couple of sausage rolls and a can of Red Berry Boost, and then at break time we would get like chicken nuggets or a sausage bab.
I feel like Jimmy Fallon here. It's ridiculous. Like, if I was to say to someone, right, I'm going to take 20 years of your life, but you're going to have 4 successful businesses, you're going to have over millions of followers or whatever on TikTok, a lot of people would be like, that's a solid trade.
Oh yeah.
In 3 years, you've achieved that. Yeah.
And for years, the switch was, I couldn't even say it. The flip it, I was just partying, drinking.
Yeah.
It didn't come from wanting to have 4 businesses or wanting to make all this money. It came from wanting to help people solve particular problems that I used to struggle with myself. I'm quite obsessed with finding out why things work.
Going back to the dark side.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee with Tim. We're back in Imperial Studios. It's very fancy. It's a change from my bedroom and my office, but it's looking good. We've got another incredible guest on, good friend. Got to know him a lot over the past couple of years. The man's a genius. I know he's not saying that. He's very humble. He's very humble, but he's a genius. And we'll dive into everything that he does and what he's about. But Sean Casey, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, and I'm loving this place too. I feel like I'm on a TV set here. But
man,
no,
I feel like Jimmy Fallon here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you big me up there, genius. Come on, I'm going big boots to fill here now.
People are going to get to know. We're going to dive into what you're about. Mm-hmm. School life, university. You did go to uni, didn't you?
Go to university.
We'll talk about that and where you're at now. You've got your, what's the saying? Fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah.
You cover a lot of bases and you're good at them all. It's mad. What age are you again?
I'm 22.
22, like
yeah.
I'm 27 and that's mad. That makes me feel very old. But yeah, I want to firstly start with, I know we already know the answer to this, and I know you told me that you don't like coffee. Or you don't drink coffee anymore.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like it. I don't drink it. And I like, it's always an because I know like your full mantra is like, get my steps.
Grab a coffee, get your steps in. That's what it's all about.
I used to drink a lot of coffee, and then you would do like tolerance breaks from caffeine and stuff like that because you build up a tolerance, and I found that I actually function better without caffeine. So it's not that I don't like coffee. I loved it too much, and I feel like a lot of the time with that stuff is like I wouldn't be having 1 cup of coffee today. I'd be having like 3 or 4 and then a can of Monster. And then I done the tolerance break, and man, I used to struggle like fuck getting up in the mornings, like out of bed, like everything was. See, when I done the tolerance break, I floated out of bed, and I was like, "Fuck, this feels so much better." And I feel like I function better as opposed to less like spikes and then dips and things like that. I feel like I just function better without it. So it's not like I don't like coffee.
You love it, but you just
I feel like business, everything just flows better without it. And a lot of people are the opposite, but it's a case of I'm not like, if you look at my content, I'm not like anti-caffeine. It's the same, like I don't really drink that much artificial sweeteners either because they rack my stomach a bit, but like in my content I'm telling people, look, they're completely fine. So it's a case of I do things myself that I'm not going to, like a lot of people find what works for them and then think everyone should do the same as me. Whereas I have certain things that work for me, but I stick by the evidence. I understand that, look, caffeine's a safe and effective, like a lot of people should take it. It will help them, but I just have certain little things in my life that I do differently.
And that's, I totally get it. You can become dependent on coffee very easily. And I was the same. I do breaks. Like I'll do a month without it, or I'll take decaf the whole time. And people are like, Tim, what are you taking decaf for? That like the coffee police are on to you, like, decaf's not real. I'm like, I totally. They're like, oh, it's not real.
You know, decaf still has caffeine.
It's got caffeine in it, I know. But I was like, I'll do decaf, or I'll kind of go cold turkey on the coffee for a while. And you do notice, I think some people, they're drinking 3, 4, 5 cups a day, and they feel like crap, like no energy, and they're wondering why. And then they start to drink more coffee to try and get that, and then they're reliant on that coffee. It's like the whole motivation thing, like a spike of motivation, spike of caffeine. It's the same thing. Whereas you now feel you've got more sustained energy throughout the day.
And it was probably worse when I went to tech after I left school. I went to tech, and it wasn't just the caffeine. Like, it was my full diet was an awful diet. I would wake up in the morning, go to Tech.
We've all been there.
Yeah, like right before I even went to Tech, I would get a couple of sausage rolls and a can of Red Berry Boost, and then at break time I would get like chicken nuggets or a sausage bab, another can of Red Berry Boost or like a Monster or something.
Yeah.
Would be in Tech all day, smoking rollies and all, and then I would come home from Tech and just fall asleep and wake up, and then somehow I'd go to boxing training, and somehow I was still boxing. I could have been a much better boxer if I had a lot of other things in check, but sure, we have to go through them stages.
Mate, the Red Berry Boost. That was the classic.
Yeah, was it like 49p?
Oh mate,
yeah.
in the blazer pocket at school.
Yeah,
that was it was not good for you. My diet at school was horrific. Like we'd have been going to all you can eat Chinese buffets maybe 4 or 5 times a week. You wonder how, like, I don't know how I'm fit and healthy, to be honest, looking back at school life.
Like I see, even still, like I really struggle with my appetite. Like I have a massive appetite, but see, during school when I was going through like puberty and stuff, it was like 10x. So I can't remember ever having a lunchtime where I was satisfied. I would always like eat my lunch and then be like, oh fuck, I need another panini. And I just ate unlimited.
Constant. Yeah, no,
crazy.
100%. I was the same. But I know I hate this question, describe yourself, but tell the listeners who haven't heard of you a little bit about you, like who you are and what you do in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's always a tricky one when people ask me what I do, because I'm like, do I tell them I'm a personal trainer?
Or like,
so like it sort of depends who's asking. Like, so if I'm just having a quick conversation with someone, I'll usually say I'm a personal trainer and I do bits to do with social media. But if I'm sitting down on a long form podcast, I'll sort of explain a bit of the background. So originally I started off just posting on YouTube. I posted on YouTube trying to help people lose fat. I didn't actually have any businesses, but I just wanted to help people for free. And then through helping people for free, building the following on TikTok, I started doing in-person coaching. And then from there I was able to do one-on-one online coaching as well. And obviously that blew up. And then from there I launched the Sean Casey Academy, which is my group coaching platform. I launched Sean Casey ebooks, which is my recipe books. I'm currently, my third one's coming out in January. And then I blew up on social media as well. I had like over 1 million followers. So I started teaching other personal trainers how to build their social media and build their business the same way that I done it. I helped multiple people do that. So I had at this stage, I had the ebooks, I had one-on-one coaching, I had one-on-one social media and business coaching, and I had the academy. And then in April of 2022, that was last year, I launched the Social Circle, which basically is everything that I taught other coaches and things like that, and even not just coaches, like people in general for social media, about growing and monetizing their socials. And now it's got over 400 members. It's currently closed. It's going to be relaunching as the Social Circle 2.0 in January, but it's over 400 members. There's countless people that have got to 100,000 followers, even 1 million followers. People have even started to overtake me. You know, Troy.
Oh yeah.
Troy has.
He's flying. His content is so clean as well.
So since Troy joined the Social Circle, he's gained like 1.3 or 1.4 million followers across Instagram and TikTok, and he's overtook me on Instagram. So it's pretty cool that I've took people to a stage where they were not, I don't know if they were struggling, like a lot of people do be struggling with social media, and I can't take all the credit, because at the end of the day, like, it is their consistency and their hard work, but the amount of people that have joined the Social Circle and been struggling to grow their following, and just like so many people have just blew up. So at the minute, I currently have 4 active businesses. So it's the Social Circle, Sean Casey ebooks, the recipe book business, and the one-on-one social media and business coaching. So that is a brief bit about what and it sounds a bit mad when I'm talking about this in a podcast, because if this is the first time you've heard from me or seen me, you probably think this ultra driven, successful person that has like always like had the cogs turning from no age. But see, 3 years ago, on this, like at this exact day 3 years ago, I would have been living in the Holylands. I would have been drinking 3 to 4 times a week. I would have had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was doing business studies as a degree, and I was like, I had no aspirations of a career or anything like that. But I think I've always intrinsically had something where I wanted to work for myself, and I knew I could be successful, but it was just a matter of me flipping the switch. And for years, the switch was, I couldn't even say it to flip it. I was just partying, drinking, doing everything wrong, and like, it's just, I think it's crazy how fast things can turn around. And now, like, I got to a stage where in the past month I've done like 4 different talks. I've done the talks for the Social Circle, and I've done a talk with the Coaches Mentorship, which is Tony McAlevy's mentorship. I literally and Cheefers too. Sorry, I can't forget Cheefers. but I was doing a talk for other personal trainers and coaches and for a lot of successful coaches in the Malmason, and that was sort of a moment of realization where I'm like, fuck, this is a bit nuts, because even 2 years ago, I was just messaging Tony to help to coach me.
Yeah.
And had to wait like 3 months for a reply, and we got a reply off Tony. I was like, oh, fuck yes, he's finally replied. I'm going to get coached by Tony. And now I'm literally doing talks for his mentorship. So I like to stay grounded, but at the same time, I think it's good to acknowledge when you have. I think a lot of people are bad at acknowledging when they have achieved a lot.
Yeah.
And I think what has happened in my life in the past 2 years is a bit crazy. Obviously, fortune has to fall in your favor for certain things. For example, when I first started posting socials, lockdown came in. So I couldn't, it wasn't a case of, oh, how do you stay off the drink? I couldn't go out and drink because we were in lockdown. I couldn't go out. So I was like, I have to focus on this. Yeah. And then by focusing on that, I've said, oh, this is so much better. Growing my socials and my business and things like that. But yeah, it's people that know me from back in the day that partied with me and stuff, that see me now, that still probably are like, well, what's the crack? You coming back? Come back out for a last year.
Come back to the dark side.
Yeah. I'm like, lads, come on.
But that's what I mean. But what you say there as well, like lockdown, everyone had a similar lockdown, but you took the decision to grow like that. I wouldn't take credit away from you for that. I know it like a lot of things are circumstance, but it still takes the work. It still takes the focus. You still had to have an idea of, I'm sure, like going back, I want to go back to school life a little bit and kind of, I don't want primary school, primary school's primary school. Everyone pretty much does the same thing. But going into secondary school, like, did you ever, like, if you're talking to like 13, 14, 15-year-old Sean Casey, could you have imagined having 4 businesses, being driven, being focused with a massive vision of achieving so much? Or did it just kind of like happen in a sense that when you got, like, you started it in lockdown and then it just kind of snowballed from there?
Yeah. See, I can't emphasize this enough. I was the most average student ever. Yeah. There was not one thing special about me.
I was similar, to be fair.
I was so my GCSEs, an A, 4 Bs and 3 Cs. That's like an average enough, like GCSEs.
That's solid.
Yeah, it's solid, but it's not a high achiever.
Yeah.
I wasn't in ADMAS. I wasn't in the highest, like I was in the mid to high tier classes, but like I used to look at people and that were super organized. I never had a folder for my books. I used to ram them all in. And I was never organized. I had awful handwriting. I was just a sort of average student, and anything that I got good grades and I had to work hard at, I had to like proper like revise, get tutors and things like that. So when I looked at other people in my year, the more smarter people, the more successful people at that time, I was thinking, these are the people that are going to be the doctors, the lawyers. They're going to be much more successful than me. They just have something that I don't. Yeah. And at that stage, like, even though I always wanted to work for myself and things like that, I was sort of thinking, oh, maybe I'll just end up getting a normal job working in IT or something. That's what I went on to do after school, IT and then business studies. But I was... I definitely didn't think all this was going to happen. Yeah. And especially at that stage too, where I was drinking, like I started drinking quite young, like drinking
what
down
age? What are we saying?
Like probably like 13, 14, like.
Fair and that's pretty common in Ireland, especially. That's pretty common, like.
Yeah, so like even like in school, like drinking, smoking weed, smoking e-cigs, or vaping e-cig, like doing all the things that super successful people didn't do. Yeah. Like. And obviously, I'm not recommending that anyone does that, but I think all them things we're character building to this stage. It makes me a lot more relatable in my content because I have done all the shit that I can be relatable in my content. Like sometimes I'm using analogies and I'm relating them back to like, oh, you can calorie bank just like you used to save money for a carry out at the weekend and things like that. Yeah. But I think that all of this stuff, all the bad things that I done, or all the things that were not in line with being a successful person that made me who I am today. But definitely when we bring it back to school, people, especially when I got to like 5th year, went into tech, it wasn't like, oh, Casey, he's like, some people would, like teachers would have been like, oh yeah, you're smart, you could do well, but it probably got to the stage where it's like, oh, it's Casey, he loves to drink, he loves partying, he loves going out, and that was my new identity. Like I was always like, I was quite smart, but I done boxing, and that was a big part of my identity, so I was an athlete, and as I said, I wasn't really smart, but I was smart enough to be like an athlete and someone smart, but then the identity flipped to this person, and this was when I was like 16, 17, even 18, who just like drinking, like going out, like partying. And obviously I knew intrinsically there was something that was still there, like I could be successful, but I wasn't acting like it at all. Yeah. Like I wasn't, like if we had been sitting in Holylands partying and we were all there saying after party, it's like, Casey, in 3 years you're going to have 4 businesses, millions of followers, and
everyone would have laughed.
Everyone would have been like, ah, good man. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. And sometimes I'm like, what's going on? Like this shouldn't be have happened so fast, like everything that it has. But I'm very grateful that it has. I'm very grateful for everything that has happened to bring me to this point. But I think the main thing for people listening is I'm not some sort of genius, as you described. I'm just a normal person that found something that I was passionate about, and I didn't think, right, I want to start this and I want to have 4 businesses and be making multiple 6 figures by this time. I started this because I want to help people lose fat. And then I help people lose fat, and I started learning about business. Well, like, I want to help people with business. So it didn't come from wanting to have 4 businesses or wanting to make all this money. It came from wanting to help people solve particular problems that I used to struggle with myself. So that, like, I even went 7-8 months posting on social media without making any money out of it, without building a business. And I think that you need to have that. All too often people will see me and be like, oh, you have all these businesses, all the money. I want that. You can't want what I have. What you need to do is actually want to help people, and then as a byproduct of helping people, providing value, you could potentially build this. But this was never a goal of mine. Like, as I've seen what's possible, I've set different goals. I want to make this amount of money, I want to scale the businesses, do this, but it wasn't the goal from the start. It was just a natural progression from actually wanting to help people.
Your priorities have to be in the right place. Like, and I think if your priorities in the right place, it will work out for you. But if you start chasing materialistic things, money, without any idea of what impact you want to have, you will most likely struggle. You'll most likely struggle, especially in a people business. You know, especially in something that if you work to impact people and change people's lives, I think everything else will come after that. But you've got the mindset of someone, like I was saying to you earlier, you've got the mindset of someone that's been literally like selling sweets in the playground. Like, you've been on the entrepreneurial grind since you were like 9. This is what the mindset is, because a lot of people would, if I was to say to someone, right, I'm going to take 20 years of your life, but you're going to have 4 successful businesses. You're going to have over millions of followers or whatever on TikTok. A lot of people would be like, that's a solid trade. In 2-3 years, you've achieved that. There has to have been a mindset shift. There has to have been like a time, or did it come from the boxing? Do you kind of like credit boxing for giving you a mindset, and then you kind of shifted your identity to drinking, and then you just went back to the athlete mindset? Or do you think there was a more like significant shift?
I think I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was definitely something deeper than boxing, because even when I was boxing, as I was talking about, I was still drinking and smoking and like not taking it as seriously as I should have. Like, I do think boxing's a great sport, and I do have to credit a lot to it for the discipline and stuff that it's given me. But see, to be honest, I'm quite obsessed with finding out why things work. Fat loss, social media, things like that. So once I start to figure out, right, why is this working, I want to help I want to show other people why it's working. I could have easily took all the secrets that I have from social media and not made a course and give it to hundreds of people and help them all blow up. But once I solve a problem, I want to help other people solve that problem. And it is a true obsession. Like, I'll wake up every day and I'm completely obsessed with social media, with posting content, with why did this bit of content work well, but why did this bit of content not work well? I'll post every single day and then analyze all my bits of content. And most people aren't doing that. Most people are just like, oh, my video didn't do well. Like, you can't get emotionally attached to one piece of content if it doesn't get the amount of likes and stuff that you want or the views. But I will logically, instead of emotionally, analyze that and be like, why did it not perform well? And then after posting hundreds of videos, I was like, these all have this in common, so I can put this into a blueprint, so to speak, and then help other people achieve the same thing. But it's not like, I don't know what has driven me to do this, or what has driven me to work so much and launch so many businesses. It's hard to explain and put into words, but I think the most important thing is I genuinely enjoy this. It's like, it doesn't feel like work. And see, if I had to get up every day and be like, oh, fuck, I have to do a podcast today. No, I have to help people lose fat today. I have to help people with their social media. My life is so awful. Obviously, it would be a drag, but I'm getting up every day and I'm doing this stuff that I would do for free anyway. And I'm like, so that's the secret. A lot of people are like, oh, how do you stay motivated? How do you do this? Find something that you genuinely enjoy doing. And obviously there's going to be parts of your job that you maybe don't enjoy doing as much as others.
I think this is where people get mixed up. Like,
it's not the fairy tale land. Like, I've got to a stage, and I'm very lucky to have got this stage where I've scaled my business, and I basically only do the tasks that I want to do on a daily basis, like the creative sort of stuff, and like I'll wake up in the morning and do like the work bits, and I even enjoy doing that. But at the start, there's going to be parts of your job that you don't enjoy doing, you're going to be posting on socials, and you're not going to be seeing the instant reward from it. You're going to be trying to get clients, and you're not going to be getting them. So it's about sucking it up and doing that anyway. If you have a vision and something that you genuinely are passionate about, but it has to passion before money. Money should only be a byproduct of doing something that you're passionate about. It shouldn't be the other way around. And that's when a lot of people join the social circle and stuff, and it seems like a get-rich-quick scheme. It's like, oh, all these people are blowing up, gaining these followers, but I never guarantee anyone, oh, you're going to gain all these followers. I'm going to say, I have the blueprint to help you, but you need to have something that you're passionate about. If you don't have something that you're passionate about, I can help you. And it's not going to happen after a few months. Don't get me wrong, it might happen after a few weeks, but for some people it could take months and months and even years. But as long as you have something that you're intrinsically passionate about, I can help you get that out there, because that's, I think, speaking about it and saying it out loud, that's what it is for me. It's not some mad shift in mindset. It's not like I'm like some sort of David Goggins driven character that's like doing things that I don't want to do, because like it's like most of the things that I do, I want to do them. I want to get up and I want to do them. And there is that bit of obsession with the social media, with content, with why does this work well, with how can I do things differently than everyone else. That's been a key thing. Like, how can I make myself stand out from the crowd? Like, even that's been like a theme from the start. Like, I want to be different from every other personal trainer. I want to go a different career path. No one has done the career path that I've done. Like, who has been a personal trainer and then launched recipe books and then launched a social media agency? It's like most people have a set path and they just following it. They go like, oh, scale to here and then here, whereas I just went the complete opposite direction. And I like that.
Yeah, and I think, but you're building evidence that everything is working, and then you're slowly transitioning into something else. It's not as if you're like starting social media just blank, like a lot of people do. Like, you've had a successful, in terms of the personal training, been successful in that, and then you'd be like, right, okay, social media, I've grown on that, right? I can now help people do this. So there's evidence behind everything, which I think is why you've grown so exponentially. And look, 1 million soon come for Tim as well. Like, I'm social circle member.
We will get there.
It might take a year, it might take 2 years, but I'm getting there. And that's what it's all about. It's different for everyone, and some people take longer to find their voice than others. Some people don't know their style yet, or don't know, what works for them or what translates into a bit of content for them. And you have a style that's really recognizable, like, from all your videos, like back to the air fryer stuff, which was like, that's where probably I seen you first. And you've come a long way since the air fryer stuff, and like air fryer video on TikTok. And then you were like, I probably said, oh, did you see this air fryer guy on TikTok? And then you've become so much more than that. But like, going into university now, you were saying, I'm keen to kind of delve a little bit deeper into the like big drinker, big partier.
Loved it.
Like, do you still love it, or do you just, like, you obviously don't do it as much anymore because you're like focused on the business, but do you miss any aspects of that life? I would say you probably don't because of all the success, but do you miss like there's very little worries, I feel like, whenever you're kind of just drinking, getting up. Uni can be like that. It can be, you can get totally lost and you're just like, just go from drink to drink.
I miss the feeling in the short term.
Like, short-term pleasure.
See, like, people drink for a reason, people party for a reason. See, when you're an absolute ripper with your mates, talking complete nonsense, partying, tunes on in the Holylands, that's class. That's the most fun thing ever. Sitting there with no worries at all, waiting for the off license to open at 11 o'clock in the morning, going to get another carry out and just talking complete nonsense with your mates. You would be lying if you said that wasn't great crack.
Deep philosophical
chat. That was fucking phenomenal. Like, you're never going to not miss that. But I feel like when you put off short-term gratification enough and then start getting long-term gratification, you feel like you see how much better your life is now that you're not drinking all the time and you're not partying. So I don't miss it as a whole. Like, people ask me, oh, do you want to go out and drink all the time? I'm like, no, I don't really want to go out and do that. And it's not a case of like, I never enjoyed it. It's like, now I wouldn't enjoy doing what I used to enjoy, because I think I've got to a stage where I'm like, even like, I bought a PlayStation 5 the other day, Call of Duty. Like, lobbies is like search and destroy. You used to like sit and like badmouth the other team and shout abuse. Now I'm in a lobby and I just mute everyone because I'm like, I can't. Like, I used to enjoy doing this, but I'm just not going to do this. Sit in PlayStation and like argue with people. So it's probably like, I've been sober now since August. What's that, like nearly 4 months? And I'll take a drink over Christmas, like, but I'm drinking a lot less and I'm finding more productive. I'm hungover less. Like, hangovers absolutely wipe you out. But I do miss parts of it. And one thing that I'll never do is talk down on people that do go out and drink every weekend and stuff, because at the end of the day, most people do. And there's lots of people that drink every weekend and they have successful jobs and they're happy doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not here to criticize anyone that does that and genuinely enjoys it. But what I try to do in my podcast and things like that is question people. Are you enjoying it? Are you friends with the people that you're drinking with outside of drinking with them?
Yeah.
Or are you just drinking buddies and you have nothing else in common? Yeah. Are you in a loop of drinking every weekend, being hungover, feeling shit mentally, and then just looking forward to your next drink? And this is your life. You're just in a loop of working, drinking, being hungover, working, drinking, being hungover. Or are you working, you're going playing pool, having a few pints at the weekend, and you genuinely enjoy that? Yeah. It's like, I can't talk to, I'm fucking 22. I still have a lot to learn. I can't lecture people's lives, but what I do enjoy doing is getting people to think about why they're doing different things. Mm-hmm. And there's no, like, I feel like a lot of people come online and they're all like, oh, you shouldn't drink, you're wasting your potential, like, I'm so much better than you because I don't drink. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, just ask people and get people to think, why are they drinking? Because for me personally, I was stuck in a loop and I didn't even know I was stuck in a loop. Yeah. Like, I thought everything was completely fine, but when I look back on it, I was drinking, partying like multiple times a week and I had nothing else going on in my life. So if I had to listen to a podcast like this and not someone lecturing me and tell me that I'm a piece of shit, because if someone lectured me and said, oh, you wanted to do it more, like I would have been like, what's this guy know? Like, he's just like, he's built his business. It's easy for him to say. Whereas I'm just trying to get people to think about it. And as I said, the answer might be I work all week and I enjoy having a drink at the weekends, and that's completely fine. Yeah. Like, a lot of people function very well doing that. But for me personally, when I take a drink, I take a drink. Like, I don't. See,
this is what I'm gauging from all of this. I'm just listening to the way you're speaking. You're an all or nothing guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, and this is why you've been so successful. I think, because if you were half in, half out, you'd have posted less videos. You'd have done that. You'd have been less inquisitive to what works, to what doesn't work. If I'm
doing something,
you're doing it right. Like,
doing it right. Like, even
which was the same with the drinking. You done it right, which was leading you down one path. And I think that is definitely the one personality trait that I feel has made you so successful. Once you're in, you're in. Like, yeah, I can definitely see that, even from the way you speak, and even from being around you and in the social circle and speaking about content and stuff. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like, you've got everything lined up, you know everything, like, you're so invested in it. And I think that's probably why, and probably why the drinking was so intense too, because you're like, well, I can't have one drink, I want
I get fully invested in every single thing that I do. Yeah. Like, even if you relate even back to the fitness, to fat loss, I didn't want to learn about just fat loss. I wanted to learn, right, why does this work? How does it work? How can we make this better? What's the nuance to do with this topic? There's bound to be more than meets the surface. So it's like, I like to go, a lot of people will go to the first layer and figure out, oh, that's how it works. It's a calorie deficit, fine. Yeah. Whereas I like to go 5 or 6 layers deep. Same with social media. There's so many nuances and stuff to it. Like, it's easy for anyone to say, like, oh yeah, all you're doing is you just hook people in the video and then, like, ask them to drop you a follow at the end, and that's all there is to it. Whereas, like, that's the first layer of like, this is what you need to be doing. You need a hook, you need this, and you need that. But then within the hook, there's like 5 or 6 or 7 different layers. Like, at Tony's mentorship talk, I was talking for 20 minutes and I said, by the way, we're 5 seconds into the video now. Like, I talked for 20 minutes about the nuances to do with the hook and how to make a good hook and how to make it stand out from the crowd and what it needs to include to draw people in and things like that. So many people will be like, oh, this is what you need in your content. You need this, this, and this. Whereas I like take one individual thing and I'll go layers and layers and layers deep. Right, how can we make this better? Why do certain ones work for some people but not for other people? What's the individuality to it? Is there any, like, does it vary from person to person and how they structure it? So with everything, I'll go layers deep and I'll get completely obsessed because I want to be the best at what I do. Yeah. I want to know the most. I want to give out the best information because there's so many different people that give advice to do with, like, social media and different things like that. Whereas I feel like they're on layer 1, maybe layer 2, whereas I'm 10 layers deep, understand the nuances, why different things work, how we can alter it. And that's even the same with the social circle with the blueprint. I'm making the social circle 2.0 and I'm going to be updating the blueprint right after I've seen everyone use this for 6 months. Here's the commonalities about where people were maybe using it, but we could go a couple layers deeper. We could change this or do this differently. So I'm going to constantly be updating that course and making it better because things are chopping and changing all the time. And the more, like, there's over 400 people in the course using the blueprint, the more people I see using it, the more I'm like, right, this is on average.
More data,
this is what we could do better. And I genuinely really enjoy it. Like,
yeah. You can definitely see that, and you can see that you enjoy it from everything that you do. And how long roughly would you say it takes for a video on average? Like, because you've said to me before, like, it could be an hour video and it's, or like 30-40 minutes, and it's like a 30-second video or a minute video.
So how long does it take for me to make a video from start to finish?
Yeah, roughly.
So say if you see a video on my social media and it's a minute and a half long, you might have 15 to 20 minutes worth of footage. And then that footage is cut down to 3 minutes. And then from that 3 minutes, it's cut down to a minute or a minute and a half. And then I'll probably spend another hour adding cutting out different bits within the cuts to make it flow better, adding in zooms and things like that, adding in subtitles. So it could be like 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours for like a minute and a half video. And most people are looking for the shortcuts. How can I, and there is ways around it. Like you could get an editor, you could scale different bits of it. But I like, this is part of my job that I enjoy doing, and I want to get it. Like I know what works for my content, and I know what way to edit it. It's not even just what I'm saying. Like I could send that off to a professional editor, and they'll do it completely wrong. Like I know what words to zoom in on, and I know what to emphasize and what like. So I like doing that all myself, and I've set up my businesses where I do have time to do that every day. But yeah, it takes time. Like it takes time.
And I think that's where a lot of people, that's the things that a lot of people don't see and a lot of people aren't doing. It's like the 10,000 hour rule in anything in sport. Overnight success doesn't exist. Although you've done it very quickly, and you've been faster than the majority. As I said, a lot of people in 10 years, if they'd done what you did, they'd be like, that was a decent trade of time. But you've done it very quickly. But still, there's been so much work in the background.
Into it, but I don't think that there's ever been a personal trainer in the UK, Ireland, maybe even the world, because it wasn't possible 10 or 15 years ago to go this fast. It's only a new thing. So I would say I was one of the first. I don't know any other personal trainer that's built 4 businesses, millions of maybe millions of followers. But
I don't know
the 4 bit most of the time when people build millions of followers, they end up just going with a company that builds an app out for them or does something for them or working with other people. Where I built these millions of followers and I've had all these lucrative deals and offers. Oh, we can scale it and you can sit back and do no work. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? Whereas what I've done is I built 4 businesses that are actually my own, and every one of them 4 businesses I could live off on their own. I'm more like, I'm not very materialistic. I don't spend very much money at all.
I know you've got 100 grand under the mattress. Like. You very easily could. Like I know, right? Like, but it is it, and I think that it's crazy. But I want to know when you knew that this could work. Like TikTok was where you started, right? Or Instagram?
I started on YouTube.
Oh, you started YouTube?
I started YouTube and then made an Instagram account at the same time. And then I started posting on
first YouTube video, banger, by the way.
Oh, mate.
I watched it back there recently.
Yeah, Sharon posted it in the group. The social circle.
If anyone wants to see it, go watch Sean's first video. Like, type Sean Casey into YouTube. Go watch it. Like, it's a great. There's the context of the video is great, but you can see how far you've come in terms of like putting your message across. Like.
Yeah, and that one thing people are like, oh, how do you talk well on podcasts and how do you make videos and get your personality across? Like just repetition. It's time. You don't get it straight away. You just have to show up every single day. And I've been showing up every day for years, and that's the only way that you get better. And I would say only really in the past 5 or 6 months, my content's actually really got personality in it, whereas before it was a lot short, snappy voiceovers, and that got me to 1 million followers.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot more personality. Every video has its own sort of style and touch to it, and that's something that only comes through repetition. And like I could have easily continued to make the same sort of content, like the voiceovers, quick, short, snappy tips and things. That got me to 1 million followers. I built businesses. I built lots of businesses off that, made lots of money. But the thing with me is I always want to be constantly getting better and changing and evolving. And the more content I post, the more other people will start to post similar content. Yeah. So it gets to a stage where loads of people are posting content that's exactly like mine. And even though I was the one that came up with it originally, it starts to discredit mine. So when it gets to that stage, then I'll start doing something different. Then I'll buy the Rode mic and I'll just be sitting at my kitchen table doing all these different analogies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to change it and make it better.
Yeah, that's you being inquisitive to what works, which all ties back into why you created a social media course. It all just ties in so well. And when would you say, like at university, when was your first TikTok video? Like when was your first? Do you know when on your account?
May 2020 lockdown.
So that was lockdown. So you out of uni?
Still in uni.
Still in uni.
So May 2020, I started.
What made you do that? What made you put out your first TikTok video? Like, because you were obviously drinking. Was it just a time thing? And you wanted to...
it was like so. Yeah, you say the September before that, 2019 was that was when so that was this time 3 years ago, drinking loads and things like that. And then we came into January, and there was something between the New Year's and things like that. I started reading more, started reading books like the 4 Hour Work Week, things like that, and started
classic.
and just the different things that they said in that. And then I was undergoing my own body transformation there. I lost 12 or 13 kg of fat from from January to around that time in May.
Yeah.
And then I just figured out, fuck, I've been lied to about fat loss. All like I've always thought it was way more complicated. Even all the stuff that you see in the TV, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I want to get the message out to people. I want to show people, look, this is how fat loss actually works. And like at the start, a lot of the people in the fitness industry that inspired me were, say, for example, Jordan Saad. And Jordan Saad, that's a really good inspiration to have, because I could not think of a more genuine guy than Jordan Saad. Like Jordan Saad, he just wants to help people. And don't get me wrong, he's got ultra successful businesses. He was one of the first mentorships that I joined too. But his mentorship is just about being a good coach and helping people. So I had people like that I was looking up to and aspiring to be like. So I was very lucky, whereas a lot of people get into fitness and stuff through bodybuilders, and there's nothing wrong with bodybuilders, but a lot of the time bodybuilders have other invested interests like supplement lines and things like that, and they're not as genuine, whereas I was being inspired by people that they're like, I genuinely just want to help people. So I was like, fuck, I want to be like that too. So then I was like, right, I just want to help people. So I started posting on YouTube, TikTok, just trying to help people. And don't get me wrong, at the start, I did do a bit of a calculation, and I was like, if I get 30 clients paying me £100 a month or whatever, it worked out as whatever calculation. And I was like, I could make 30 grand a year. If I could make 30 grand a year doing this after a year or 2 years, that's the same as I'd get for a graduate job. Yeah. So why would I not focus on doing this? And I wasn't even making any money from the start. It wasn't my main focus. Money was not my main focus.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why see if I jumped at every opportunity for money, I would have had an app by now. I would have had this. Whereas I just wanted to help people, and then as a byproduct of that, I've built these businesses. But it was just, I wanted to help people at the start, and I was looking up to other people that just were genuinely good people within the industry, and I wanted to be like them.
Yeah, and I think TikTok at the time, so started lockdown, or like roughly around that January 2020.
Yeah,
when you posted your first video around that time. So that was when TikTok was really over lockdown. I think TikTok kind of went. Yeah, like that there.
You have what's known as a consumer to creator ratio.
Yeah.
So the amount of people the amount of people that are consuming content to the amount of people that are creating content. So see, when lockdown came across, everyone was always like, I'm not downloading TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok's
supply and demand kind of thing. Yeah,
everyone started downloading TikTok because we're bored as fuck. But there wasn't enough people making content. So the ratio was way off. Like there was loads of people consuming content, not enough people creating content. So it was way easier to go viral because there wasn't enough going out to keep up with the demand of it. So at the start, almost anyone was going viral. Almost anyone was building it.
Hindsight would be lovely to be like, bring me back.
That's another thing. Like it's luck at the end of the day. Like obviously I do have hard work, but there is certain things. Like I got into TikTok at the prime time. Like it was the perfect time to get into it. And
you still had to make the videos though. Like you still had to do it. Like
yes,
I could have done. Yeah. I could have went on TikTok, but I was that person that was like, the consistency wasn't there. I was like, oh, TikTok would be good. I had a coaching business at this time, and I was like, oh, TikTok would be good, but I never invested any time into it. So you deserve the virality from that, like anyone does, because they actually made the video. I know some people just done random video of a cat.
I just think it's good to acknowledge parts of luck. But people do say luck's when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes, love that.
So that the luck wouldn't have came apart, but there could have been other people that have maybe started posting and putting all their time and effort into something like YouTube a few years ago, and showing up every day for a few years. And it's very rare that you blow up. You have to post consistently for years and years and years. Whereas I was getting that almost straight away, and that sort of fed the fuel to the fire to enable me to keep going. But I got in at the right time, but I fully took advantage of it. Like I talk about, oh yes, lucky to get in the right time, but then at the end of the day, I posted every day. I built 4 businesses off the back of it, and it's
But do you remember your first viral video? Do you remember the feeling? Because we like I would love to say, oh, you don't get attached to likes or whatever. Everyone gets it. It's a dopamine hit. Like whenever you've had it so many times, you probably numb to it, the viral thing. But like, say your first 100,000 views or 200,000 views. Do you remember? Was there a specific video? Did it like 3 or 4 start going like popping up at the same time? TikTok was different back then. Obviously,
there was like one of my first. I think it was. I considered viral at the time. It was like 30k views, and it was like
when you seen the K. That's
It was like a pancake recipe. It was like mashed up bananas, protein powder, and like something else to make banana pancakes. And I thought this was genius at the time. Yeah. I don't even think I'd started talking in my videos yet. It was just like a video of it with music playing in the background.
Right. Yeah.
So that was one of the first ones. I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. And then I done one where I showed my body transformation, and then I give away like a free workout plan, and it got like hundreds of thousands of views, and I was like refreshing seeing it all going up, and I was like, this is a bit mad, like, because it's just the opportunity to, like, every time you the difference now, right? See, when you post on Facebook, Instagram, the only way you build an audience, or used to build an audience, is if you make shareable content, because it's only going out to your friends and family. But see, every single video you posted on TikTok, it was always going out to strangers, so it always had that opportunity to go viral. So it was super exciting. I do remember that the first few viral videos, and I was like, shit, there's something here. Like,
yeah, the potential with TikTok was crazy. A lot of people didn't realize it, but it was, because I remember it changed from Musical.ly, didn't it? It was just a dancing app.
Yeah.
Changed, and the potential, I'm sure a lot of people, it's like the Bitcoin thing. If you'd have bought Bitcoin in 20, whenever, you'd have been a multimillionaire.
There's always going to be trends coming. You need to hop on the train, and this is why I'll be keeping my eyes peeled on any new apps. And see, the more people that say the app's childish or the app's stupid, or oh no, don't waste your time going on that, I'll be on it. Like,
Gary V's talking about one at the minute. It's like, because I follow Gary V, and he seems to always have his finger in the pulse with these kind of things, but. Is there anything that you think? Well, firstly, TikTok. What do you think about TikTok, the future of TikTok? Because I know that's the main. Well, it's not you're big on Instagram as well, and obviously YouTube. You have a YouTube following too. But in terms of social media in general, do you think TikTok's going to be here for the long run? Do you think Instagram? Because Instagram's kind of starting to. Instagram pretty much own everyone now. Like Meta own most of it, but
I think TikTok is going to be here for the long haul. But I think it's got a lot of work to do. Most of the people that buy stuff off me come from Instagram, because stories are much better. They get much more consistent engagement. We've got question boxes. We've got different things. We've got DMs. You can't DM people on TikTok that you don't follow back. Things like that. So TikTok has a lot of work to do in a platform that is good for business. At the minute, they're bringing stuff out like the TikTok shop and things like that. I still can't sell products on it. You can't sell e-products on it, but there's massive potential there. But no doubt, as soon as TikTok does something, Instagram will copy them and call it something different. Yeah. So people say Instagram's dying and stuff. Instagram's never been Instagram has that thing at the minute of the consumer to creator ratio. Were with Reels, because most people that are on Instagram are just posting photos because of their friends and family. So Reels are getting pushed massively. So like all the people that are blowing up in the social circle now, the predominant amount of them are blowing up on Instagram, which is pretty mental. So I think there's huge opportunity in all these platforms. But as long as we're building Instagram, we're building TikTok, we're building YouTube, we're building an email list, as many as possible, because any of them could die at any stage. And like, I'm not going to sit here on a podcast and predict things, because at the end of the day, right,
no one knows
over the next I'll make predictions if I have like a clear thought on something. That I clearly think, right, that I have a reason for this. Yeah. But I could go on podcasts over the next year and make different predictions, and then lift the one that was right. You know what I mean? Whereas I will I know a lot about what works within these platforms, how to grow within them, but I can't say this platform is going to be the main focus. At the minute, TikTok and Instagram are sort of even in terms of their importance, but I would lean towards Instagram, because I'm able to sell there a lot more. People buy more off me. It's a lot more interactive with your followers and things like that. So TikTok's got work to do there, but I think that they're all going to be around. Yeah. But I do think there will be new up and coming platforms, especially with this whole Web3 AI. Like, there's loads of new technologies coming, and there's going to be new social medias to pair with the new technology. So you just need to be on the ball there. Yeah. And the most important thing is you can't get stuck. I can't say, oh, I run a business and I've helped all these people make hundreds of thousands of pounds and grow millions of followers through the social circle on these apps. So this new app that's coming up that I don't understand yet, it's stupid, because it's not what it, like, you can't get stuck in your ways. So I'll be on the ball, and I'll be keeping an eye on the new up and coming apps. And no doubt in 5 years' time, the social circle course will look completely different. Yeah. And come January, it's not even a course anymore. It's a mentorship, because it's going to be introduced in Zoom calls, challenges and things like that. So I can't predict the future, but I can stay on top of it and do as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. And anything that you say, I'll be on it. If you tell me where to go, I'll be like, right, I need to go on this TikTok. I'm not going to miss out again. Yeah. But you mentioned mentorship there. I'm keen to kind of know, do you, in terms of your kind of application to TikTok, and in terms of, like, when you were saying there, your TikTok, that you done the body transformation, then you done the free workout. Mm-hmm. Did that come from your head, or did that come from a mentorship? Do you credit any kind of guidance early on to be like, this is what you need to do? Because not many people would know, if I do a free, like, that's lead gen, like a free workout plan linked to this TikTok.
For social media, no. So for social media, and people have asked me about this before, I was listening to a lot of podcasts and things like that. about social media content, and I was finding myself disagreeing with the podcast, disagreeing with people's predictions, disagreeing with what they're saying, and a lot of the mentorships and stuff, the social media advice in them is completely outdated, and a lot of what you need to be careful about in a lot of mentorships is the mentorship is run by people who have friends that do social media things, so they bring their they bring their friends in, and then you join the mentorship, and then you're suddenly getting the social media editor and social media advisor that's advice is outdated, but since it's on the mentorship's mate, then that's what you're getting. So mine is all it's just trial and error, seeing what works. It's completely different. It's different than anyone. I need to take a drink here.
Man, let's take a drink.
Throat was about to
You're on fire. You're like, that's what I mean. You're all or nothing in everything, and also in the way you speak. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but with the social media advice and things like that, I've took a lot in terms of how I structure my businesses from like people like Jordan Satt, Mike Vacanti, Tony McAlevey. Tony was my coach, my personal trainer, and he helped me with business as well. Yeah. But in terms of social media, I will happily take all the credit for what I've done there, because that is my own trial and error. That is my own seeing what's works, and I've helped hundreds of people do the same thing. So it's came from me, and it's the most important thing for me for social media was not taking advice off people who grew 5-10 years ago, because the algorithm completely flipped on its head in the past 2 years. So that's why I've had such success in the social circle and stuff like that, because people are still trying these outdated tactics that simply don't work anymore. Yeah.
And do you think, in terms of confidence, like going back to still kind of around this time you put your first TikTok video, did you ever struggle speaking on camera? Obviously, you said that you didn't speak in the first video, the banana pancakes. I don't know how many people have made banana pancakes since, probably, but was there ever an issue, or other people, because I know a lot of people, my clients, and a lot of people that kind of struggle with confidence, that want to get into putting out content or even fitness in general, going to the gym. Confidence is a big barrier that holds a lot of people back. Was it ever something that you struggle with, or was there a time where someone said something to you like, "Oh, Casey, you're being a tool here," like, or "Come on"? Was there any ever time where you were like, "I'll not put this video up"?
I still struggle speaking on camera. I see them, as I said, it's 20 minutes of footage that goes into 3 minutes. Yeah. Like, I don't get things in one take. Them videos take, on some days, nearly every time when I sit down to speak in front of a camera, I'm like, this is the one I genuinely don't get. Yeah. This isn't going to work. And then eventually you'll piece something together. But it's you only get better and better, and at the start it was a massive struggle. Like that first ever YouTube video I done, it took me hours just to get an introduction. And
everyone go watch it.
If you go back and watch the introduction of that video, the introduction was literally me saying, I have no idea how to do an introduction. I've tried for hours here and it's just not working. Yeah. So like, it's like people see the finished product, but they don't see that behind the scenes of what goes into it. So the only way you get better is through repetition and through like, showing up, and I'm continuing to get better, and I'm continuing to try and improve myself, but it just comes through repetition. So I lack confidence massively at the start. I struggle to speak on camera, but you get slightly better and better each time. There's no secret sauce to it. What was the second part of that question?
Confidence.
Oh yeah. Dealing with people if they've ever given me
any
criticism.
negativity. Yeah.
At the start, I didn't experience a wild amount of negativity. A lot of people in the local area were actually very supportive, and I think that most people want to do something like this, and they're hard. Well, not most people, but a lot of people want to do something like posting on social media, but they don't have, not saying the courage to do it, but they just
don't follow through.
They don't follow through with it. And when they see you doing something that they want to do, a lot of the time they're supportive, and they're like, "Holy fuck, fair play, mate! Yeah. I wish I could do something like that." And a lot of the times they do end up doing something. So I didn't experience a massive amount of criticism. I've heard things in the grapevine, people saying this about your content or that, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, why would I genuinely, like? Obviously, you're a psychopath if you don't care what people think at all. But it's about how you analyze what their opinion is of you. Like, see if someone gives me feedback and it's genuine constructive criticism. I don't like sweep everyone under the rug and say, "Oh, you're a hater. You're just jealous of me because I'm making my content." Some people will criticize certain things that I do with my recipes. A man left a comment in my YouTube videos once, and he was all like the YouTube videos are more long form. It was quite a good vlog and things like that. And he was like, your vlog is so good here. Your Instagram content's the polar opposite. Is everything okay? Like why are you not acting like this on your Instagram? And I could have easily been like, "You old fuck, get off my YouTube." And like, but I was like, these fucking voiceover style clips that's just short, snappy to the point aren't getting much personality, and he's watching my YouTube and telling me that I have personality here. Why am I not getting on my Instagram? So instead of swiping him under the rug and being like, oh, he's a hater, what does he know? I've got millions of followers. I'm like, this man probably has a point.
He's a viewer, like he's a consumer of your content.
Must go back and find that comment. But see this whole
shout out to that guy.
Yeah, see this whole bullshit of everyone that says anything negative about me is just jealous of how successful I am.
Yeah.
That's not the mindset to have.
No.
You need to be able to take on board constructive criticism. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, some people are on a fake account giving you abuse for absolutely no reason at all.
20874,
yeah, like just. And at the end of the day, I often see these comments and stuff and people that will go after me and attack the way I talk or the way I said a certain word or the way I look, or they'll attack me for any reason. But what you need to understand is these people are just projecting their own insecurities. If they're on a fake account, no one that's happy, no one that's got a successful business or just has a successful life in general is on a fake account giving people guff on TikTok or Instagram. No. It genuinely doesn't happen. So in these cases, I feel sorry for people. But see the thing of everyone only hates me because they're jealous of how successful I am, how many followers I have.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. That's not it. Like, some people are giving you constructive criticism, and if you can't take constructive criticism on board, you're never going to grow and get better. Your content's never going to grow and get better, because at the end of the day, the people that are commenting on your videos, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So instead of getting pissed off every time someone says something negative to you, just understand, does this person have a point? If they don't, okay, fair enough. They're projecting insecurities, or they've commented that for whatever reason. But if it's like some people are saying the same sort of stuff, you have to be emotionally intelligent enough to not get offended by that and take it on board and be like, do they have a point? Could I improve my content?
Yeah.
Could I change this? Could I do this differently? Because it's like one of the main mistakes people make, and this is where a lot of people in my opinion, have their downfall, is they get a bit of a success and then they think that they're invincible. They think that everything they can't do any wrong. And anyone that comments on their videos or anyone that tries to tear them down is just jealous. It's like, if you want to continue to get better and you want to continue to provide valuable content for the people that are watching it, you need to be able to take on board what they're saying and use that to improve yourself. But again, it's about thinking logically instead of emotionally and being able to process these comments, because you are always going to care what people think, but it's about what you do with that information. Yeah,
and it's an attitude thing as well. Like it's how you see a comment, and as you said, if it's a hateful comment, a troll comment from a random fake account. That should sometimes I know it's easy to let things get to us, but that should never get to you, because that you have to feel sorry for that person.
It will at the start. There's no way around that. Like, you're gonna be sitting in bed at night. Why did that person say that to me? Why have they went out of their way? And sometimes I will actually comment, and like someone will leave a random negative comment, and I will say, why have you done this? And it's not even like taking the piss. I'm like, what, genuinely, why have you left this comment on like a video that I've done? Like, why have you attacked me like this? Is everything okay? And like a lot of the time people will completely flip. Like, I've had this chef guy that was like, did he voice note me? He didn't voice note me. He messaged me at like 8 o'clock in the morning, a Friday morning, and was all like, you've overcooked your pasta, you're a piece of shit, you're a disgrace, this and that. And I was like,
can you overcook pasta? I didn't think that was possible.
I probably did, to be fair. But I was like, mate, let's forget about the pasta for a minute. It was actually my most viral pasta recipe. You know, the one that everyone loves?
Yeah, creamy chicken pasta. Yeah.
Like, the pasta was probably a little bit overcooked in it, but everyone still loved it. But anyway, I was like, mate, let's forget about the pasta for a second. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the Friday morning, and you are like giving this negative energy out, and you're really angry. Like, why are you so angry at a video online? Like, you could have simply just scrolled past it, but you've actually, instead of, a lot of the times people aren't annoyed in the moment, or they prolong their anger by like, oh, he went viral on video and he's done this wrong. Instead of scrolling past it, then they'll get annoyed, and they'll get even more annoyed after, and it's all the annoyance is actually happening after the event. And I'm saying, mate, you're getting yourself awfully worked up here, and there's no reason for you to do this. Like, there's no reason. And he reached back out and he was like, you know what, mate, you're actually right. I'm genuinely sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Blah, 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 whatever he's going through and this and that. But oftentimes when people do leave these negative remarks, all of a sudden I'll try and figure out why, because they're
it's
not
a projection.
They're not in a good place, and oftentimes I'll try and talk to them, I'll try and help them out, but then sometimes they'll come back, oh, now you're just being a condescending wee fuck, because I'm genuinely not, mate. I'm genuinely trying to figure out why you have left this comment, and why are you getting so annoyed, and like, I'm like, see, arguing back and forth with people on Instagram and DMs, like, none of us are getting anything from this. So I'll try and flip the conversation and be like, right, why has this started in the first place? Because I have never got into an argument with someone on Instagram on someone else's post. I've never commented on someone else because if I don't like what they've done, I'll scroll past it.
So it's hard to get into their headspace. It's hard to figure out.
I like trying to read into people and being like, why are you doing this? And a lot, because I'm like, there's no need for you to be doing this. Like, you could just focus on yourself instead. But some people take that on board, and other people are like, oh, you're really fucking cunt and stuff like that. And I'm like, sorry, mate.
I know, but I think it is. It's you have to be in a really dark place, one, to set up a fake account, or even to do it off your own account. And I think that's levels. The people that come back and go, right, Sean, like, fair enough, I shouldn't have done this. And then the people that come back, you say you're condescending. They're just deeper in kind of their own sadness. And the one thing that would make me sad is, you're in a position that can brush it off because the self-awareness is there, and you know what you're doing is right, and you're having an impact. Whereas a hateful comment becomes a real negative whenever someone stops doing what they want to do because of this hateful comment. And it's like, that's when it's sad, because that person could have kept growing, but this negative comment has been like, they can't sleep at night because of this negativity. Like, I know people that will put out content and they'll get loads of positive comments and one negative, and they're like, right, that's it, I'm giving up. That's me done.
My number one bit of advice is, if you don't want to receive any negative comments, just don't do anything at all. Don't say anything. Don't leave your house, because people will give negative comments about how you're dressed, how you look. Don't do anything with your life. And then where does that leave you? Negativity and people passing remarks is part of life. It's going to happen, but it's about how you process it. Again, the question I'll get people to ask themselves, does this person have a point? No. If they don't, right, why have they commented? Projection of insecurities. They're not in a good place themselves. You're getting worked up, and someone's trying to drag you down to their level. So it's tough at the start. It's easy for me to say this on a podcast, but see, when you get them comments, and even still when I get them comments, I'm like, come on, man. I'm just trying to have a nice Friday evening here. And this person is tearing me down for no reason. It's like, you learn how to process them better and think logically. And maybe they annoy you for 30 seconds as opposed to 2 days. But they're still not nice to get. But this is the trade-off. There's no, it's not black and white. Everything's a trade-off. So if you want to grow on social media, it's not like your life's perfect straight away and you have all this money and followers and nothing gets you down and you never get sad about anything. It's about, you have a lot more eyes on you, a lot more people giving you negativity. Everything's on a much better scale. So do you actually have the mental ability to cope with that? And this is something this is an issue as well with people that are blowing up super fast. They're not used to it. Like, a lot of time people are maybe used to going up to 5,000, 6,000, getting the odd negative comment, and then by the time they get to 20k, they're getting a few more, and it's gradually building up. But people are going from 0 to 250,000 and suddenly getting influxes of negative comments and being like, right, how do I actually cope with this? And it just takes a bit of, this is why I think listening to podcasts, even like the one that we're speaking on at the minute, it's super important. So you can get inside the head of people like me that do have a big following, like, because if you just grow a following, or you just start posting online even without a following, and you get these negative comments and you don't know how do I cope with these? Because they do you probably don't think about it before you get them. You don't think about how you're going to cope with them, but they will get you down if you don't know how to properly process them. And
I think you're spot on. I think it comes down to controlling the controllable too. You can't control what someone says to you, but you can control how you react to it. And I think if you react to it in the right way, but as you said, a lot of people are blowing up. Like, I've seen accounts on Instagram blowing up, or TikTok, going from 5,000 to 200,000 in the space of weeks and months, and they just get this influx of hate, which it must be hard to deal with. It's like the lottery. I always talk about this to my clients, the lottery winner analogy, where it's like, I think it's 70% of UK lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years because they get all this money, but they don't have the education, they don't have the kind of come up along with it, and they just get, here's a load of money. And it's why I think you should enjoy the process, which you obviously do. Like, you obviously enjoy the process. You're not thinking, I want to get to here and then stop. Like, I know you'll probably be talking about TikTok, YouTube, whatever the next one is, 50, 60, 70. Like, you're going to be the guy that's just going to be, because you genuinely enjoy it. But when did you genuinely enjoy it from the start, or was there a time where you were like, this is a grind? Like,
nah, man, fucking loved it. Like,
I could tell you loved it too. Like, because you've said to me before, because if I was like, I didn't watch my video back, or I didn't just think it hit, and it's something that I'm definitely guilty of, and I think a lot of people are probably guilty of that might relate to this, in the sense of you feel the pressure to put content out, so you just put it out, and you're like, but you don't actually, it's not your message, or you just do it, or you don't even think about it. Like you were saying, that could take an hour, 2 hours. That's your real message. Whereas if I just like walk in 2-minute video, boom, put it out. I think that's the difference. And I think that's the difference between growing massively and remaining stagnant. It's about, you gotta love it. Like you gotta, but there will be things you don't love. Like this is where I think people get mixed up. There's parts of, like I will always say I love my job, online coaching, getting to help people every single day. That's what I love to do. I love training people in the gym, and I love working with athletes when I was doing more of the sports science stuff. But there's admin, emails, like that is the side of things. I think that's where people feel like they have to love every second of what they do. You won't. No, like you just won't. There will be, I'm sure there's parts of what you do that you don't enjoy doing, but it's like the overall vision and the overall impact you're having and what you actually do. You will always say, I love what I love what I do.
100%. And some days will be harder than others. Like for example, I post on social media every day. I love posting social media, I love posting content, but some days it's a Sunday night, you haven't got a bit of content up, and you're like, oh fuck, I have to make something here, I have to get something up, and that's a bit of a grind.
That's tonight.
But that'll be tonight. But at the end of the day, like I wouldn't trade what I have for anything in the world. I think that for my skill set, I always talked about the people that have, like, were way smarter than me in school. They were way more intelligent, way more organized, things like that. But see, for my specific skill set, in the fact that I'm not the smartest, but I'm still smart enough, and I'm a good communicator, and I love working with people. I think my skill set couldn't perfectly work in with this job that I'm doing at the minute any better. Like in terms of the social circle, and I think genuinely my skill set, it molds. There's not like everything just fits perfectly. And the fact that yes, you need to be like, I feel like for my intelligence, it's not like I'm smart with everything. It's not like I just walk into a chemistry class and know it all. But if I get obsessed with something, I'll become extremely smart with it. Like I'll look for things that people don't see. So like that was probably in school why I wasn't the smartest person, why I wasn't in ADMAS, why I wasn't in these things, because I didn't care enough about them.
And you have to do a bit of everything.
Yeah, but see, when I find something that I care about, and then I can really get obsessed with that and learn that craft, learn social media, learn fitness, and then apply the fact that I have learned so much about this, like way more than anyone else knows about this particular topic, and then mix in my communication skills and the fact that I do enjoy working with people and I have enjoyed being laid back, having the crack. It all mixes in perfectly, and it couldn't have worked out any better. Yeah, no, definitely. And what kind of emphasis on, I'm always keen to get this from successful people, I'm always keen to figure out, what works. One thing that I'm definitely getting strongly from you is the all or nothing approach. Like probably more than anyone I've ever spoken to. I've done a lot of podcasts in my time and spoken to a lot of people, and you can tell that you're just like fully in it when you're in it, and that's an amazing personality trait to be successful in something. But what would you acknowledge in terms of, say, community, the people you hang around with? What would be the other things apart from the all or nothing approach that you'd be like, that's super important? Because you mentioned mentorships, you mentioned Tony, obviously, you mentioned, you've obviously got the social circle, which is a community. You've obviously got your academy, which is a community. How much importance do you put on that and the people you surround yourself with? Because obviously when you were at uni, you were drinking a lot. That was probably community as well, in a different sense. See, at the minute, right? See, this is another reason why I'm going to Australia in January. I don't have a massive community of people around me that I'm with on a daily basis that are doing the same things as me. Like, I have an online community, and I think that's super important. Like, one of my best mates, Evan Daly, who started off as a client, I speak with him on nearly a daily basis. We're always going back and forth. So it's super important to have people around you that are doing the same things. And it's super important to build your community around people that you feel 100% comfortable with their intentions. Like, say, for example, me and Evan, I know that we could sit and voice note each other back and forth and talk about literally anything. And the voice notes are going to stay in that conversation because that's the sort of level, like, you need to be able to have people like that. And you know that, like, people aren't going to get jealous. Like, for example, Troy overtook me in following the other day. I didn't get pissed off about that. I shared it to my story, I think today or yesterday. Shared the social circle to congratulate him. So with it's important to have a community, but with certain industries, there's going to be specific people that you can sort of gauge, right? They probably don't have the best intentions, or you just don't gel with them as much. So your community aspect is important, but it's about not just building your community and friendships just because someone's in the same industry or just because you have the same interest. Being like, do you mix well with that person? Are their intentions true? Because that's why even the social circle, like, fully believe that everyone wants to see each other do well. Everyone supports each other. It's not like, oh, he blew up and my content's better and this and that. So community is extremely important, but having the right people around you and not just people for the sake of people. But see, in terms of success, we're bringing it back to what I said at the start. It's passion, it's enjoyment for a certain thing. It's like, you can't want what I have because of what I have. Because what I have is a byproduct of passion. So what are you passionate about? Yeah. What sets your heart on fire? What gets you fucking going? Because see, when we do this podcast, even when we're doing this podcast, I like lock into the conversation, and I like everything's like, it's like a different from a normal conversation. But that's something that you can't just, I couldn't just turn that on if I wasn't passionate. You couldn't,
100%.
If I wasn't passionate about social media and things like that, you can't turn this on.
Nah.
So what you talk about, what you build your businesses, what you make your money from, has to be something that you get this thing that you switch on. And then when you're talking about it, you don't even have, like, you offered to send me the stuff, the questions and the brief. I said, no, don't send it to me, because I, like you said to me in the spot, and I'm just thinking, I don't want to like because I'm confident that I'll be able to answer everything to do with my specific thing, because it's my thing I'm passionate about. So it's way too stressy if you're trying to do something that you're not passionate about, just because you think like it needs to be your thing. Like,
you can't fake energy, and I think that comes across. It's the same with content and being authentic online. You can't play a persona for long enough to be successful, because eventually people will find you out. If it's like the whole, you'll know all about this, but the influencer, you see them like Love Island and all the rest, and then they do the influencing route where they're like, what you didn't do in terms of brands, and you got loads of brands saying you like, can you do this, because obviously following is a massive commodity right now. Like, it's a businesses look for that. And if you're selling a car air freshener, if you're selling, like, it's so easy to see. And I think people are getting smarter on social media, like consumers, people that are watching social media are way smarter to that now than they were maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know what your opinion on that is in terms of the influencing. Because you wouldn't call yourself an influencer.
No,
but you have massive influence, but you wouldn't call yourself an influencer.
I would prefer to call myself an educator.
Yeah.
Because I like to think that when, like, if we look at the surface of what an influencer is meant to be, someone that influences other people's decision making, influences them within certain areas. Yeah. I like to think of myself as someone that can do that, but I don't put the tag of an influencer on myself, because when you look at the nuance of it, people are like, oh, you're an influencer because you influence people, but that's not actually what an influencer is now. An influencer is oftentimes someone that builds a following for a certain thing and then starts influencing people by selling other brands and things like that they don't necessarily believe in. Yeah. And that's something that I'll never do. However, I truly believe that there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing brand deals if you are passionate about what you're talking about. And for some people that build a following, they're not lucky enough to be a personal trainer or do something that they can specifically launch their own business from. Like, a lot of people will do clothing and stuff. I was lucky in that way. And some people, like, if you're a creator, right, you deserve to be paid for your time. I just choose to be paid by myself instead of brands. Whereas I think that if you do the brand deals, as long as they fall in line with your beliefs, then there's nothing wrong with doing them. Yeah. And as I was saying to you before, like, the social circle, I feel like there's a gap in the market for someone that can do this better. There's a lot of social media agencies that are like just pairing people with different brands and be like, oh, here's a brand deal. Whereas I think with the social circle, if I could add another layer to it, instead of just teaching people how to do social media, like, brands will want their social media done for them. If I could link up like-minded influencers, so to speak, with these brands, but then take these influencers and teach them how to post content, because a lot of the time, the content's awful. Like, they're like, here, do this brand deal. You're an influencer, so you're going to do an advertisement for us. Yeah. And you're looking at the advertisement and you're like, holy fuck, what are you at? No one has thought this through. So I believe that the next stage for the social circle is me almost being the middleman. For ethical influencer marketing.
Authenticity,
like, no shit brands, no fucking skinny, like, brands it would only be brands that I fully believe, right, you have a good product. Yeah. And then it would only be certain people with social media followings. I'm like, I think that you're in line with this business. I can bring you in and I can teach you how to make good content for this business and like link people up that way, and we'll all make a lot of money together. You know what I mean?
And it is amazing, and I've no doubt that you'll do that and it'll be successful. And I think
it'll be the best ever, because
I can see the gap, by the way. I can massively see the gap.
I don't believe that most of these people have passion for producing content. I believe they have passion. Like a lot of people, like these agencies and stuff, and I don't know them. I don't know anyone personally that runs an agency, so I'm not talking about. But I believe as a whole, people that get involved in social media agencies have a passion for making money, have a passion for like all these, but I don't believe that they have a passion for quality content. And the layers, maybe they're at layer 1 or 2. Whereas if I can bring influencers to layer 10 to teach them how to make good content, then the influencers are going to make better content. The brands are going to get better content. Everything's going to work better, and it's going to be done in a proper way that's actually ethical. And it's not like, oh, this person's going to advertise this that has nothing to do with their content. That has not. It's like there's a much better way to do things. And as a result, authenticity always comes through. When people can tell if an influencer's marketing something that they don't.
So easy.
Yeah, it's like, but if we can get the authenticity and actually make it authentic, sometimes a brand's going to come to me, do you have any influencers that could do this? I'm going to be like, no, I don't think any of them fit the match there. But there's a much better way to do this, and it's a gap in the market. Same way, like the social circle is like, I think the only one of its kind really in Ireland and Northern Ireland. Like there's a few other courses, but they're not producing results. Like I see a few other people doing social media courses. I'm like, where's your results? So like it's like I like every personal trainer in Northern Ireland, and a lot of the UK that want to do social media, they all come into the social circle. So I believe there's a massive gap in the market to turn the social circle into something that brands can use too. And brands, I believe that a lot of brands don't like working with these agencies because they're like, oh no, it doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right here. Whereas if I can bring them in and be like, right, this is me. This is what way we're going to do things. We're actually going to teach people how to make quality content. Huge potential.
There definitely is huge potential there. And I think the influencer thing is quite new. And I think the job title, like what you were saying, the job title of being an influencer, it's more like, as you said, it can be a bit seedy, and they come out of these reality shows, it's like, right, influence this person to buy this makeup brand, this and that, and it's just
burning through their audience, because like that's one thing. If I'm
how many Love Island people don't know even see them
like
anymore?
If I was bringing on influencers to get them brand deals and stuff, I would be like, right, it has to be 1 in every 6 or 7 posts, or 1 in 5. You can't be, every post can't be a paid ad. Where's you? They're like they're not following you for this. Fair enough if it's in line with your beliefs, but like, where's the authentic content as well? And that's something that'll work with.
And it's long-term sacrifice for short-term gain. It's the same as alcohol. You were getting the short-term gain, but you seen the longer picture. That's where influence, and I feel like that's where the gap is there to be plugged. Social circuit's got to plug it. I could definitely see that, and I think it is a lot of people, and it's not even the people that go on Love Island's fault, because they're thrown this opportunity because it's like just randomly here you can make money from this, and then they're promoting, all sorts of random stuff. Do you know how hard
it is to say no when you've got all these people in your ear?
100%, like especially when you're just at the start.
Even sometimes I'll get messages and I can see through it now because I've studied marketing, I've studied sales. I know people that are set, like for example, if someone will be trying to get me on a call and they'll say something like, what do you have to lose from getting on this call? And I'll be like, I know you. I know why you're saying that. You're copy and pasting that. It's like, so I know all the ways around it. But see, if you don't understand that, you're going to be jumping on calls with these people and they're going to be telling you all this stuff in your ear, blowing you, oh yes, everyone's doing it. Look, this is the best way for you to make money. But it's like everyone's invested in their own interests, especially all these people trying to get their influencers to do things. Whereas I want to be someone that's not just invested in making the most amount of money, that wants to do this the right way. But it is extremely difficult to turn down all these things. So I have nothing against influencers that come off Love Island that they're not making any money, and then they're seeing all their friends that are come off of Love Island, oh, they're promoting this and this and this, oh, I need to do that too, this is how I'm going to make money. But a lot of the time, for some people it works very well. Molly May has built an extremely successful business. She's smart. She knows what you at. No matter what people say about her, like, oh, she had everything handed to her. She came off Love Island. She has it easy. Who else come off Love Island and built what she has?
Exactly.
Like, she knows what she's fucking at. No matter what. Like
my sister loves everything she puts
out.
People like
to tear her down, but she's got brains. Like most people would come off Love Island even if they win it. They don't build what she has. So it's like, I see it from both perspectives, and I've nothing against different influencers taking brand deals because it's a normal thing to do. But I feel like if I can go into this industry and guide people a better direction, that's not going to be like, take this brand deal, this brand deal, this brand deal, short-term gratification, burn through your audience, and then you're fucked in a few years. If I can be like, let's be strategic with the brand deals that we take. Let's build something that's actually your own as well. And let's look at the long term as opposed to coming off short term. You're fucked, and the people that you worked with at the start are away because they've got the money off you. Your 5 minutes of fame is over. There's nothing left. Whereas if I can come in and be like, let's calm down a second.
Yeah.
You're off Love Island. Yes, the full country knows you at the minute,
Yeah.
but they're not going to care about you in a couple of years if you don't do this, this, and this.
Yeah. And it is black and white in terms of, like, literally you could go on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or anyone that's had a personal brand. The ones that do well are always the ones that go the way that you're talking about. Like, I don't think the ones that promote car air fresheners, or if they do that and then they're transparent and honest about what they learned from it, they can also be really successful, because then it's all about finding, like, what you're passionate about, what you're saying there about, right, bringing people in, find what you're passionate about, build a brand that is actually you. Because Molly May can't be faking. She can't be faking her personality for so long, because she's authentic, she's real, and whether people agree or disagree with, you know, the way she promotes herself. And then she also had that scandal where she was like, everyone has the same amount of hours in a day.
Yeah,
but
I think
that's a short soundbite.
That was like, right, context first. Not everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. This is something that I always say to people when it comes to fitness. I'm not going to be like, just get up, get on with it, do your 5 sessions per week. People have children, people have stressful jobs. Some people are nurses working 12-hour shifts. So to say that everyone has the same 24 hours in the day is complete bullshit. It's complete nonsense. But on the other side of the spectrum, I believe that her intentions were good when she said that. And I believe that most people that were turning her down for it, if they listened to that full podcast, they would not have noticed that she said that.
100%.
And they would not have picked her up on it. The only reason that they were picking her up on it is because other people picked her up on it. And does look at the amount of bad shit that people do in the world. The full internet was down her throat. This is what it feels like for me to get one negative comment, or other people. Imagine the full internet down your throat. Literally, it was the biggest news. Someone said that everyone has the same 20. Get a grip.
I know.
Get a grip.
And how many people have said that? Andrew Tate's probably said that for.
Look, and again, we're not arguing about whether everyone has the same 24 hours. We know that
context,
they don't. But does having the full internet jump down your throat for saying something like that? Is that fair? And a lot of the time people go on about mental health and, oh, we need to be kinder to the people. That's not kind. That's not kind. Picking up on a little thing that someone said, when I believe that they had good attention, that's actually scary. And people don't understand how scary it is when the whole world seems to be against you, and a lot of people on the internet are turning you down. People don't even think about what the actions of their consequences. Like, you have people all the time in the like people just like, oh, they're in the limelight, they're fine. People are killing themselves all the time. And then you're picking up on small things. Like, imagine someone that broadcasts their whole life, you're picking up on a one sentence and trying to I think it's disgusting.
It is disgusting. And I think, especially in the podcasting world, like, if you've never done a podcast, you're just chatting naturally and in flow, and you just say things so flippantly, and something that's taken out of context can mean something completely different.
Imagine someone like imagine you do hours of podcast per week. Imagine if we took every single person and took a few hours of their, because see this at the minute. This is just like a conversation that me and you would have normally.
Exactly.
So imagine we took every single person that drags other people down for what they've said online and took all the small snippets from their conversations that they have. They'd all be fucked. No one's perfect. No one, like, everyone says things that, like, don't, like, just chill out, everyone.
I know.
Chill out, like,
it's crazy, right? I'm conscious of time, and you came from the bright lights of Banbridge, and I know you need to get back.
Don't worry about me. I've got all the time in the day.
Well, the memory card is 85 minutes on it, so that's what I'm conscious of.
Right,
I'm like, right, okay, I need to get up and switch. But vision. I want to talk about vision. I want to talk about where you see, you've obviously told us about Social Circle 2.0, where you see that the kind of, you know, the plug for, or the gap in the market when it comes to influencers. What's the I don't want to talk 5 years, 10 years. I just want to talk, like, impact. Like, what do you think Sean Casey was put on this earth to do? I know that's very broad, but
like, I just want to, like, as cliche as it seems, like, be someone that actually helps people, be someone that does good with their money. Like, I will give a lot of money to charity and things like that. I don't often post about it on my socials, but I like using, like, if I say a GoFundMe, give them $1,000, you know, something. Like, I like being able to help.
That must feel great too.
It does. That's one of the best things. Like, that's something that I want to do, and, like, I'm not at the stage yet where I'm going to be building my own fucking charity, but I want to continue to give, help, and support people with the money that I have, especially with cost of living and things like that. I'll support people in my local area and things like that. But in terms of, like, business, the Sean Casey Academy, it's only getting bigger and better. I'm not sure, like, at the minute it's got to a stage where in the academy, I know everyone on a one-on-one basis that communicates, that joins the Zoom calls. Around, I could push it to probably about 400 members, but after that, the scale would have to be bringing in other coaches and things like that. So that's the decision that I'm happy with how everything's running at the minute. So I'll probably push to about 400 members at the next launch, and then I can still cope with everyone, do the messages. So that'll continue to get better. Hopefully we'll add more things like that, in-person meetups and stuff. So that's the main thing that's how this all started. Fitness. I love, like, say hopping on a Zoom call on a weekly basis and talking people through their relationship with food, taking people that have been misinformed about fitness their full life and reshaping their mindset. That's something that will never get old for me, and that's something that I always want to have. So we'll continue to do that. The recipe book business, got my 3rd recipe book coming out, and it's a massive upgrade. Like, the first 2 was all done by me and my sister, and the photos were took by me, but now I've
seen previews of it. It's looking
so
clean.
I've hired a professional photographer. Everything about this recipe book is an upgrade. I don't work with very many people on a one-on-one basis. I maybe work with 6 or 7 at one time because it's something that I enjoy doing, but I don't want to scale that massively. So I'll continue to do everything that I'm doing, but continue to do it on a bigger and better scale. It was a stage where it was like, I launched 4 businesses in the year, and everyone's like, oh, where's the 5th, where's the 6th? And at the minute, I want to just focus on making them better, because there's no need for me to have more businesses. Don't get me wrong. I will probably buy a bit of property, because it doesn't make sense to have money sitting in your account wasting away, especially if you're not materialistic like me. You're going to build up a decent amount of money. So I will buy properties. That'll be the next thing probably once I get back from Oz. But I want to continue enjoying everything that I do. I never want to get to a stage where it feels like work. And that's why I'm very careful with, like, I have all these lucrative opportunities, people offering to work with me, work part together. I never want to get to a stage where, like, say at the minute what I have is perfect, and if I bring anyone onto the team, they need to be perfect for the team, and I'm not going to be rushed to scale and get employees, because with employees then it's just, you're managing people, you're managing expectations and things like that. I have 1 employee at the minute, that's my sister. She does an amazing job for all my businesses, but that's the next logical step, hiring people for the team. But I'm not in a rush to do that, and anyone that I ever hire will be like, you need to be perfect, like, you know. So because I'm not like, I need to scale, employees, more money, this, that, bigger, better. I'm like, I'm taking my time with this, because this is all working perfectly, it's all growing perfectly, and if we can continue to do it at this perfect rate, I think that's the best way to go about it.
And you're so clear on where you want to get to, and I'm excited to see the progress. I'm excited to see it. You remind me of, I don't know if you ever follow Iman Gadzi. Do you follow Iman Gadzi, a guy on YouTube? He, like, multi-million-pound agency, but he, like, builds schools in Nepal. Like, that's his passion. That's like the charity stuff. You're not him, you're yourself, Sean Casey, but it reminds me a lot of him, and he puts a lot of money back into other things, and that's where the true joy is. Like, it's actually having the impact that you have. The money means nothing if there's no impact behind it. But Australia, you mentioned Australia. What's the thought process there? Has Caroline McKenna had a big influence on that?
I wonder, like, I've talked to Caroline McKenna, we've done podcasts together, I've asked her about it, but for me personally, at the minute, business is good, everything's good, but all I do is make content, go to Tesco, go to the gym, walk the dog. It's like there's nothing else going on, because there's such a big drinking culture here, whereas I feel like in Australia there's so much else to do at the same time. We have to get back on the caffeine grind. But there's so much else to do. There's so much more of a fitness scene. I want to see the world. I think Australia will be a great place. I'm going to do 3 months there. If I like it, I'll go back longer term, but I don't see myself, I don't think it's sustainable to stay at home at the minute, because it's just, there's nothing else going on. And as much as work's good and business is good, you need to have a life as well. You need to have things to do, the other things 100%. To look forward to. So that's the thinking there.
100%. And what would, to finish it off, to round it off, this putting you on the spot, but one bit of advice. Well, from everything that we've spoke about, there's been a lot of value here, and I know anyone that's trying to get into social media, anyone in fitness, anyone in general who wants to grow and be successful, there's loads of value here. But what would be the one thing that you would say to someone that's maybe where you were at uni, or drinking a lot, or maybe not even, or just aren't where they want to be? What would be the number one thing?
I would say, don't look at someone like me or someone else that's successful and try and just replicate what they have. Instead, think about what you truly want to do, the journey that you want to take. Work hard at that. Don't be afraid to take your own route, and understand that you will fail. You will fail. Oftentimes people are like, oh, I can't do it, or they fail and then they give up straight away. See, every time you fail, that's actually a good thing, because you're going into it next time with a new thought process, with information that you didn't have before. You know why you failed the last time. So embrace failure. Figure out what route you want to take. But fail, the more you fail, the better, because the more you fail, the more lessons that you have, and the more lessons you have, then eventually it will be a success. So don't think you need to be here, or you need to have 4 businesses and this amount of years, etc. Like, find what you're passionate about. Fail fail over and over again, but every time you fail, take a lesson from that and apply it to the next time that you try, and eventually you'll be working with something.
Facts. Listen to that and apply it, because you can listen to it. This is what podcasts, you have to take action. Like, if you don't take action, there's no point. Like, thoughts without action are literally pointless. So take the information from this podcast and apply it, and I guarantee it will be valuable. Plug yourself, Sean. Where can people find you? I know we'll probably be here for another 30 minutes with all the plans you have, because you've got things, recipe book out in January. Plug yourself, and what do you have? Kind of.
I know, I don't care. Like, follow me on
Scasey Fitness.
Yeah, leave the socials.
I'll put everything. I'll put everything in the.
Yeah, it's not a big thing, but if anyone wants, for completely free, Social Circle free mini course, check that out. I'll need to update that because I'm changing the offer at the end of it, but that's a completely free resource that if you're interested in getting to grips with social media, then you can check that out. Also the Social Circle Instagram page to look at the results and things like that, and the Social Circle podcast, if anyone's, that it's free resources.
Yeah,
I'm not a big man for, if this is your first time listening to me, asking you to buy something off me or asking you to join the Social Circle. I would rather you consume my free content. You've already started by listening to this podcast. Listen and see if you like me. See if you like what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, there'll be some people that gel really well with me. Some people will want some people like someone that's like a pure, like, motivational guru that's like tells people like so fucking suck it up and stuff. Whereas I'm a bit more laid back. So some people like that, some people won't. But I genuinely believe I have the best information to do with social media in potentially the world. So
I believe it. I back it 100%. Sean, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on. I know it was a far drive, so I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you want to follow Sean, all the links will be down below. Scasey Fitness and all this here. You'll see him everywhere. You've probably seen him pop up on TikTok a time or two. But yeah, appreciate everyone listening. We'll be back with more amazing guests. We've got some incredible guests lined up in season 1. And yeah, I'm buzzing. Make sure to like, follow, share, all that good stuff. This will be on Instagram. There'll be reels and stuff going out. So yeah, have a good one. Don't forget to grab a coffee, get your steps in, and I'll see you in the next one.